the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the ThrillGeek podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ThrillGeek podcast. Barry and I holding down the fort as we come back from it's been about a month.
Well, we also came back from a cruise.
Yeah. We figured you guys...
I don't know why we're wearing these hats.
We figured you guys were sick and tired of us talking about Halloween Horror Nights, so we came back with something fresh and exciting to talk about, which is our media preview christening cruise. I don't even know what to call it, aboard the Disney Destiny. So Barry and I wanted to jump on here, give our impressions on things, thoughts on things. Full disclosure, Disney did invite us out. We were hosted by Disney. So again, huge thank you to them for inviting us out for this 3-4 day. Including the christening. It was multiple days out there. I think we're going to start off with talking about the christening of the Disney Destiny. This was another, I think for both Barry and I, another pinch me moment.
We've had a few this year.
2025 has been a very pinch me moment for ThrillGeek, and
it's been a lot of pinch me moments for ThrillGeek. Some other things not so great, but a lot of pinch me moments for ThrillGeek.
Yeah. A lot of ups, a lot of downs,
a lot of highs and lots of lows.
Yeah, as I said in our videos and stuff, I don't take these things for granted, and it's special to be included with these things. So yeah, but the Disney Destiny christening. They did a little pre-party with all sorts of different. It was really cool how they did the party for the christening.
Let's first talk about the fact that first we got on the boat.
Yeah,
and we got on the boat early. We got on the boat around noon, which was really cool. It's nice to get on the boat early. Immediately having to run around the boat doing stuff.
It's overwhelming.
As we go through this podcast, you will see that we slept about 5 hours each night.
Each night, yeah.
We had to remind ourselves that we had to schedule
sustenance,
20 minutes to go into Marceline Market, the buffet, to shove a bunch of food in our mouth. Then go do some other things, shoot some other things, and then change clothes. Both of us got to get off the boat, and then we walk into a party that was really unlike any media party we've ever been to.
This party was literally held in the whatchamacallit,
in the terminal.
In the terminal, thank you.
Yeah, the Disney Cruise Line terminal at Port Everglades, which
they literally turned their whole terminal into a party, which was pretty cool. Because
when we got on the boat, there was no the usual setups where you can take a bunch of pictures. It was all walled off, curtained off. We were go right on the boat. But we get down there and we walk right into a room that is royal themed. And then right over the corner is Princess Tiana. And we're like, huh, that's interesting. And had a theme. And they were like, wait a second, what's that over there? There's another room.
We slowly discovered that there were multiple rooms.
There was three.
In this pre-party thing. So we saw Tiana, and then in the next room, I'm guessing it was Heroes themed because Black Panther was over there, correct?
Yes, it was in one room. And then we went into another room that was about as mid-century modern as you could think, because it was Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
And it looked like Edna Mode was throwing a party.
I think that was the coolest out of the three.
That was the coolest out of the three. And
Heroes. Remember, Disney Destiny here is Heroes and Villains theme, so you can see where we're going with this.
Yeah. So I think, we got our picture with Black Panther. We did not get our picture with Edna Mode. Bad of us.
Yeah, we never did Edna. Yeah.
We did get our picture with Princess Tiana. A lot of our friends who we've talked about before, who are friends with us media-wise, we're all on this cruise too, which is always fun. Now take all those people
and shove them outside.
Onto a cruise terminal pier. If you know anything, that is very rare that I've gotten to be on the pier once at Port Canaveral because we were going on a Carnival ship for a media thing.
Yeah.
Normally you always go through the gangway. You never go on the pier at the terminal. We're all out on the pier at the terminal, and as we walk out, we notice, hey, the ship's not there anymore.
The boat's gone.
The boat's gone. Some of us may have gotten to see some of the rehearsal the night before.
The hotel Disney put us up in was literally right across the road from the boat, so we got spoiled.
And our balcony was literally a direct view.
Yeah, it was a great view. That hotel was amazing, by the way. Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into that. That is maybe the most expensive hotel we have ever stayed in.
Yeah, that was bougie.
And we walked down to the end of the pier where we already sort of knew there was going to be a stage there. We had already seen it earlier. And the ship is behind it, but not like directly. Like it is out in the harbor, still in the harbor. And no anchors were dropped or anything. So we get there and it's like, you go up on the risers. I end up on the left-hand side where there's almost nobody. So I've like got this perfect view of the stage and everything with really nobody. I stepped back a few. You know, people always cram towards the stage at stuff like this, but it's like, take a few steps back. You can get a better view. And I could see the countdown clock, so I actually knew when I needed to get everything. And it just begins with Josh Tomorrow and I forgot the other guy's name, but no Bob Iger. So it was just Josh Tomorrow and I think the head of the cruise line, I think maybe.
I think that's who it was, yeah.
And so they introduce they do their little speech and then the christening begins. And when I literally say they do their little speech and then boom, the christening began. And the christening literally begins with one deck after another on the ship, the lights going off. We found out later the people who were on the ship, because anyone who didn't get to go could go to the Walt Disney Theater, but some people, I guess, were also up in Cask and Cannon. It didn't matter where you were on the ship. They turned every single light.
Yeah, my wife
for the emergency lights.
My wife and daughter were on the ship, and I guess everybody was told in their rooms to close their curtains, turn the lights off. Because
if they didn't, they turned the lights off.
Yeah, they wanted the ship as dark as possible because they wanted it for the drone show, which was really amazing.
Which all the lights come off, and then next thing you know, a line of there was maybe 12 singers at least come walking up onto the stage. There's a live band on the stage. I want you to understand no lip syncing was going on.
Yeah.
They were live. The band was live. The singers were live. What we did not expect, and what I don't think I've ever seen before, is projection mapping on a ship that's sitting in the harbor.
I was pleasantly surprised about how well these must have been some serious projectors they had hooked up for projecting onto the boat, because the projections were actually really good. Some of the favorite parts, I love the Maleficent part with the dragon and the flames.
The dragon, the flames, the evil, creepy version, slowed down version of Once Upon a Dream.
I love that version.
Someone needs to release that. I mean, I guess I can watch our video and listen to it over and over again. But that was so cool. Friends, they did The Other Side. You know, and they did some Frozen. I mean, they did at least they did Into the Unknown. But it all crescendo to the finale with Hercules. That was just vocally, performance-wise, drones, everying, projections. The whole package was going off to the point ending with projection with drone-looking fireworks. They introduced the godparent for the Disney Destiny, and in the end, probably not really that shock of a surprise. It's Susan Egan, aka the voice of Meg, also the original Belle on Broadway. They do the christening with there's no bottle. They do the christening with the drones. They christen the ship, and then the drones have Disney Destiny up in the sky above everyone, and then it ends.
Yeah, it was a really cool christening ceremony. I was pleasantly surprised with the production value, and something like you said that had very little rehearsal. You know, the fact that, like we said, that boat was out there floating in the water, and they were able to pull off these projections and the drones, and it was quite a production.
I think it hit me after it was done, the fact that you and I were on maybe a few hundred people on this pier watching the christening of only the 7th Disney Cruise Line ship. Yeah, I may have sent a very emotional message to send. I definitely got crying. You can see you just get a little emotional in the video if you watch it.
And we had to get back in quick because they're like, we got to get the boat back in.
Yeah, the boat could not dock until we were all off of the pier.
The pier, yeah. They were like, no boat, or you guys, we're not getting the boat back until you guys all get inside. So everybody hustled back inside where the pre-party was going on, and now this is the post-party, and they completely changed the entire inside of this venue from Heroes. Like I said, you guys saw, you see where we're going with this. to villains. And the first room, everything was all Cruella de Vil themed, so obviously that was her room.
So they had changed it from Edna Mode to Cruella de Vil. And I need you to understand that Edna Mode had this gigantic mural in it, and then all these other pieces of artwork around the room. We come back, and that entire mural is gone and replaced with a giant mural of Cruella and all these with like fashion drawing designs and all these different poses and designs and stuff. And there's all this other Cruella stuff around the room. And then Cruella's meeting. And as amazing was that we walk in the next room, and where Tiana was is now like a black throne. And there's Dr. Facilier. And for those of you who know, the new face character version of Dr. Facilier debuts on the Destiny. And he is completely different. He's more, there's no more long fingers. And we'll talk to you why there isn't that anymore, but he was amazing. And shockingly, I'm like, he's such a rare character. He had the shortest line.
He had no line, which was mind blowing. I was like, are you like, maybe a lot of these cruise people just don't go to the theme parks a lot like you and I. And like, even for Halloween events, you don't see a Facilier meet and greet. So
no, he's just in the show, in the Hocus Pocus show.
Yeah, so I was like, Barry and I were like, Facilier meet and greet, yes.
Of course, in the next room, and as always, shocking, no shock there, has the longest line is Maleficent. And then also, instead of savory stuff, there was sweet stuff, desserts, all kinds of desserts, more drinks. So we just wandered from room to room, had some food, got pictures with everyone, chatted with people. Then it took a while for them to finally get the boat back, and then we get back on the boat. We had to shove some more food in our mouth because the food we had at the party wasn't enough. Probably one of the coolest things about the first night, on top of the christening, is getting to do a sail away party at night.
Yeah. Because usually you do your sail away party at like 4 o'clock, five, somewhere around there. And we're doing the sail away party at like 9:30 at night because of the christening, which was pretty cool.
Actually really cool because everybody was hyped from the christening and everything. And Spider-Man appears. And it was probably my favorite sail away party I've seen. I think that sort of sums up the first day. And now let's go through the topics that we are going to discuss about the Disney Destiny. And there's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. We're going to start off with the good stuff, the food. Mainly the restaurant venues aboard the Disney Destiny, which were 3 dining venues. Let's start with 1923 because that one, unfortunately, we really didn't get to experience to the fullest because, again, that on the night of the christening, 1923 was open for the people that were on the ship, but it was like a best of menu.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the full 1923 dining experience, which full disclosure, we weren't able to, they fed us, which was cool because Barry and I got back on, my wife and daughter were on the ship. And they were eating at 1923, and we were meeting up with them. And so we had some food there. It was really good. Yeah. I wish I had more time to walk around 1923 because you got the Walt Disney and you got the Roy Disney side. Just obviously the restaurant is themed to the early days of Walt Disney animation. And
the Walt Disney side has up until the time of his death, so like the 60s, and then the films, and then the Roy Disney side has up until whatever the current film. We never had a chance to get back there and walk around because it was open for breakfast and lunch, and it just was something as we go through this podcast we simply did not have time for.
Which was a lot.
and it sucks because what we saw it's really neat. I could just wander around that restaurant and look at all the different, because each had different artwork from the different movies, maquettes, storyboards.
I saw clay models.
Yeah.
Just all sorts
of stuff.
If you're a fan of animation, 1923 is definitely going to be the restaurant that you want to really pay attention in. And I just wanted to walk around, but like Barry said, we did not have time.
And I think we'll wrap one thing. What we also loved was right outside of 1923 on both sides is a lot of concept art, models, maquettes, carpet swatches, colors for the Disney Destiny. So they actually have, like, I thought that, to me, that was one of the neatest things, is they had, you could see some of the sort of like things that went into building the Disney Destiny, and the design of the Disney Destiny is right on outside of both sides of 1923. So
the other restaurant that we got to experience was Worlds of Marvel. And unfortunately on this one, we didn't get the full experience either, as you would get on the Disney Treasure and obviously the Wish. We got the second showing, which is basically trivia with Groot. No crazy moment, nothing really spectacular happens. Groot comes out on a TV screen, does a couple silly little things.
Yeah, Groot and Rocket appear at different points, and I mean, if you can you can find it out there, and there's even a little credit scene, end credit scene at the end with some of the younger Marvel superheroes. It's the first time for me that I have done a Disney main dining room experience that I was sort of disappointed. And this includes the food that night, because I didn't think the food that was great. The desserts we had were really good, but the appetizers and the main entrees for that night that I tried, at least, I was not impressed compared to the other restaurants.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm kind of on the same playing field. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. We didn't hate the food. The food was edible. It was good.
The food was good.
There was just something about it that was. I don't know if you need that first night with the big battle that they do with what's his name, Ultron. Aren't they fighting Ultron on the first night or whatever it is in Worlds of Marvel?
The other version I know at least has Ant-Man, Wasp, and Spider-Man shows up at some point.
Yeah, and I think they're like fighting. I want to say they're fighting Ultron. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was because we didn't get that first night, that super cool night, and then the second night's a little more relaxed. Maybe that was why. Yeah, the trivia thing just, kind of, they have what's that little Ant-Man thing on your table? The quantum core. They have that on your table, and you can just do trivia while you're eating. It wasn't anything spectacular.
It just didn't do it for me.
Something didn't click. But let's talk about the dining venue that did click for us.
Yes.
And that is Pride Land's Feast of the Lion King.
Now, before we start on this, we do have to do sort of a disclaimer is we were sitting in a table right next to the stage. And when we mean right next to the stage, we literally mean next to the main drummer percussionist.
Yeah, we had really good seats for our Pride Land's Feast of the Lion King.
So the stage is in the center of the dining room, which is huge. We've already heard from some people who were further back who've said that maybe the one flaw with the show is, unlike the other dinner show, like we've experienced the Tangled one on the Magic.
Yeah,
they sort of move around more and move up and down, sort of makes sort of like a main runway through the dining thing. I think that was the only one. That was the one complaint we heard from some people who were further back. Is you don't get it. It doesn't have the oomph that obviously being right next to the stage has.
Like we were. Yeah,
I don't know why we got next to the stage, but. Somehow
you'll see
next to the stage.
You'll see in our dining video coming soon to the YouTube channel.
You will see how close we were.
We had really good seats, but this show was absolutely amazing. The performers, the song choices. My wife, huge Lion King fan. I looked over at her multiple times. She was a sobbing mess, so she was going to be my meter of how good this dinner show was, and I don't think she stopped crying. What
other people who know us were sent us pictures that they took of our table of her crying.
And they're fantastic photos. But yeah, like they pull from everything for the music for this show. They pull from Lion King, they pull from Lion King 2, they pull from the Lion King Broadway show. Mm-hmm. It is an amazing mix of songs. Not just from the Lion King, but from all the other formats of Lion King.
I feel like if you're a fan of the Lion King, you're going to love this show. I think that's the one other thing we heard from some people. If you don't know the other stuff, you might not follow the show as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of follows, it does follow the same story as the original movie, but it has these additional songs, like Shadowlands and He Lives in You from the Broadway show. So I definitely understand that, but for people who, I'm not the hugest Lion King fan. I know Lion King. I know Lion King 2. The Broadway show is actually my favorite version of Lion King now. When I heard Shadowlands, and then when I heard He Lives in You, that's when I actually got a little teary-eyed. But the fact that those two songs were in the show, to me, that's like the creators of the show, who you'll see in the video. We actually got to talk to some of the people, to one of the people behind the show. That's when I knew that they nailed they understood the assignment.
Yeah.
That it couldn't, that the show shouldn't just be a straight like storyteller retelling of the original movie, that having these extra songs in there added a whole other layer into. There are two main storyteller singers in the show. There's a main percussionist drummer who has, I think it's like 25 different drums and percussion instruments, and we also got to see like behind the scenes and really get a close up. There's no electronics on the drum set, on those percussions and drums that he has. Everything you hear, you will think it's part of the. Yes, there is a backing track. You will think it's part of the backing track. No, it's him using a lot of different African drums and percussion instruments to create these sounds, on top of two drummers that are moving around too, and a dancer who actually has a solo in the show. Depending on how much you love The Lion King and then how close you are to the stage could affect how much you will enjoy the show. It's not just about the show. Let's talk about maybe one of the best main room dining experiences, that not upcharge, obviously Palo and the other upcharge restaurants are a whole other different thing. As far as a main room dining experience, maybe some of the best food that I have ever had on not just a Disney cruise, any cruise.
Obviously, the whole menu is African inspired, very different types of different spices, and gosh, I can't even remember what I got because my brain was so overtaken by that show.
I do remember that I got, and I think almost everybody has agreed, the Berber chicken. I don't remember, it has a longer name. For me, it is one of, if not the best chicken entree I've ever had. We heard from the chef at the behind the scenes, and the rice that's in this dish is basically the rice that his mother used to cook. It's like this pepper rice, and the rice and the chicken are like, that's one of the best rice I've ever had, and that chicken is easily one of the best, like, flavorful, juicy, amazing chicken entrees I've ever had. I also had one of the fish entrees, and that was amazing too. All the desserts were amazing. All the appetizers we had were excellent.
I had the prime rib of beef. I looked it up here, which was really good. I had a cheddar cheese, loaded baked potato, black garlic, broccolini, honey glazed carrots, and horseradish, which that was amazing.
There's some basic stuff on the menu, but there's some stuff on there, and this is always the fun thing about cruises, is trying stuff that you may not try when you're paying for this, but you don't feel like you're paying for it when you're in the meantime.
You're in the moment. You're not paying for it.
You're in the moment, and you have the opportunity to try stuff you normally would not try if, like, say you were at a high-end restaurant. And I love it. $50 entree that you were rolling the dice on. I
love it, too, because your waiter staff, when you're on a Disney cruise, like, if you're sitting there looking at your menu, you're like, I don't know if I should try this, and your waiters is like, I'll just bring them all out to you. Like, they did multiple times with us with the desserts. We couldn't figure out
every night with dessert, they just brought all the desserts.
We couldn't figure it out, so our waiters were like, we'll just bring you everything, and they literally bought us every dessert, which was amazing.
The size of the entrees are always more what you expect from a high-end restaurant. You know, you're usually eating well over like an hour, and sometimes like hour and 20 minutes or so. You know, you can have. I would never normally order an appetizer or dessert, but since you're having a 3-course meal over a period of like about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, and they're smaller sizes, so you get to do it. That's to me, that's always the thing with, you get to have a fine dining experience. And I don't know if that why like Worlds of Marvel for us was the next night. That maybe that was also
we set the bar way too high.
This bar was so high.
Yeah, that could have been it too. And then up on the upper balconies, up by the pools, are the quick service options. Mickey and Friends Festival of Foods, which this honestly surprised me. They've really upped the ante with some of the quick service options. You know, because I've been on the Wonder, the Magic, the Fantasy, the Dream. This was my first Wish, as well as your first Wish class ship. So I've seen the progression of some of the quick service restaurants from the original ships up until now. And you have Smokestack Barbecue, Donald's Cantina, which was amazing. Daisy's Pizza Pies, Goofy's Grill, and Minnie's Delights. I think you were a huge fan of the Smokestack Barbecue because I saw you.
I was shocked how good that barbecue was.
For a quick service barbecue place, it was actually really good.
For a quick service barbecue place, I had it twice. I could, if I was on a 4 or 5 night cruise, it would definitely be dinner one night. It was so good. I mean, and they clearly have real smokers on that ship. You can tell the difference between fresh and not fresh barbecue, and all of it was fresh. I'm not the biggest fan of collard greens, but the fact they had like real barbecue sides, not just coleslaw, but they had like collard greens, they had jalapeno cornbread, which wasn't too hot, but it had a little sweet and spicy. The mac and cheese was a little bit more. I think it was a little bit different than the stuff you get at Marceline Market.
It was a little more baked. It was a baked mac and cheese.
A little bit more baked. So it was all very good. And
when I ate at Donald's Cantina, which is basically like Chipotle, for those of you that I can basically explain, you can either get a burrito or you can get a burrito bowl, and they were really good. Yeah, they have tacos too. But the big thing is everybody was either getting a burrito or a burrito bowl.
And I also try over the grill, and they not only had cheeseburgers and hot dogs, they had an Impossible Burger, and it was pretty good. Of course, the soft serve is that the other one, soft serve and fruit. The pizza place, and we do need to understand this was only the second regular cruise that this ship had been on. Pizza place was having a hard time keeping up with demand.
I think every time we walked by that place, they were out of pizza.
They were out of pizza. I think our only real complaint, pizza obviously stays open late till midnight. I think a lot of people, including us, probably wish it stayed open till 1 a.m. And that also there were like some cookies or something available late night.
You can't get room service, but if you're just up on deck and you want to grab like a slice of pizza, I think that's kind of what Barry was.
I feel like that's one thing Royal Caribbean has always done really well is they usually had the pizza place, but the pizza place also had some desserts. I mean, we were go. I forgot that. Oh, well, when you go to Marceline Market for lunch, you just need to grab some extra desserts to throw in your fridge or to wrap up in a napkin, like the cookies in a napkin, and save it. I forgot about that we weren't used to. I think last time when we went to Magic last year, there was something that stayed open. The pizza place stayed open late, and I think there was like they had cookies too.
Yeah, I vaguely remember them. Yeah,
vaguely. You get around all of that, and you get to Marceline Market, which is the buff. I don't even really want to call it. It's not really a buffet because I believe that's what they're all called on the Wish class. It's more, and the theming and everything. It's themed like a farmer's market / food hall because you literally have stations throughout, and double-sided like all the most like it is in Cabanas. You have different food stations throughout for breakfast and lunch. And I guess on some on the longer cruises, some nights I believe it's open for dinner. Everything I had in there was great. I mean, we ate breakfast there every day except for the last, and we ate lunch. We ate lunch there 2 days, I think.
Not me asking the lady for breakfast if they get more adults or kids wanting Mickey waffles, and the lady was like, adults.
As someone who tried the Mickey waffles and the pancakes, the Mickey waffles taste.
Always come out on top. Mickey
Buffet
waffles.
Pancakes just don't,
Yeah.
Pancakes you got to eat fresh.
Yep.
But breakfast was great. They did have omelets. We didn't figure that out till the second day that there was a station for omelets. I'm sure they'll get better at like having something, a little sign up for something because I don't like those eggs.
Oh, the scrambled eggs.
The scrambled eggs. I got the fried eggs too. It's like was it the second day that there is pog juice? It just says Orchard's Best on the juice machine.
Barry, like for the first day of the cruise, was like, "Why don't they have pog juice?"
Yeah, so
and they come to find out it's just named something on the Minute Maid machine.
Either they didn't change it because I think the other on Magic it said pog juice. They probably need to change the screen on there. I think most usually with the buffet, try the Asian stuff because usually the Asian and Indian stuff tastes better than anything else on the buffet because a lot of the chefs and the cooks are from Asia.
They're from that area, yeah.
From Southeast Asia, India, all that. I tried some of the Asian stuff, and that was a lot better than some of the other food on there. And of course, they have the crab legs, and for me, the shrimp. And so, there's plenty. There were so many choices, and I feel like I didn't really try anything that I didn't like. So,
all right, let's move on from food before I get too hungry. Let's move on to some of the kids' spaces aboard the Disney Destiny. Some of the coolest kids areas. Again, I've seen the Oceaneers Club go from what it was on the older ships to now, and I am so jealous now that I am 42 years old and I cannot play. I mean, sure, they had open house for us so we could play for a little bit.
Yeah.
But going around the two main areas of Oceaneers Club, the Marvel Superhero Academy, which we went down there and Spider-Man was down there, so we got to walk around and see some of the Marvel props and stuff all over the place. I think the really cool area, though, was the Star Wars Cargo Bay.
Yeah, Star Wars Cargo Bay had actually some I don't want to call them animatronics, but limited movement figures. They had like a porg, they had a loth cat, they had the frog. It was some kind of frog
outside
of Jabba's palace, or maybe in Dagobah. They had so many buttons and switches that you could just go around and flip.
In our video, I was like, Barry, go push buttons, which is
I'm sure maybe they're for some sort of activity. Like that's the cool thing with I believe with the Oceaneers Club is there's characters and there's things to do all throughout the day. There's a fairy tale area, and we got to meet Rapunzel. We got to meet Ray and Chewie appear sometimes. Like I said, Spider-Man appears sometimes. There's an Imagineering section where they have different Imagineering things they do throughout the cruise. Missed the open houses for the preteen and the teen club.
The teen clubs, yeah.
They had open houses too. You get access through like a secret door. I think is it Vibe or one of them. It's like you literally have to tap your magic band.
Yeah,
it's just like a door. I guess that helps with the preteens and the teens making it feel like it's more exclusive.
Something special for them, yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
So, but we didn't get to pop in there because we were so busy.
All right, let's move on over to entertainment. Obviously, the Disney Destiny is home to 3 Broadway-style shows. Mm-hmm. You have Disney Sees the Adventure. We did not get that on our cruise at all. That wasn't even an option.
It was not. Yeah, they didn't run it opening night. I'm assuming because of the christening and all that.
And then I skipped out on this because I was relaxing in a lounge, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. Frozen, which apparently, from what my wife and daughter were telling me, it's literally like a copy and paste of the DCA version. So.
Yeah, it is longer. It's got some additional moments that the DCA version did not had, and has more of set. The big thing with the DCA version was a lot of LED screens and
limited on.
It's a longer show.
Yeah,
I caught about the last third, and it was really cool and really neat.
I was like, I want to go vibe in my little happy place. Yeah. So
yes, we spent a lot of time in the place we'll talk about later.
Yeah, but the big show aboard the Disney Destiny is the Hercules musical, which was absolutely fantastic. Barry and I got to do a little behind the scenes thing with some of the creators of the show, the puppeteer, the Hydra puppets. I forgot the gentleman that we interviewed, his name. I got to the puppeteer. Yeah,
it's in the video. They're supers. You can check it out. I got to interview the actor who has originated and is performing as Hades, and he is a Broadway veteran. Actually played as recently played Hades in Hades Town, the musical.
Just bouncing around all the different Hades.
Bouncing around all the different. I think it was one of the youngest guys ever to play Hades. If you know Hades Town, usually Hades is played by an older, usually well experienced. Not that this guy wasn't, but
yeah,
he's one of the. I think he's the youngest actor to ever play Hades on Broadway. Hercules the musical. I think the way I described it, it's not an adaptation. It's not a retelling. It is a completely reimagining. They made bold choices in this show. I think we've said the first about 10 minutes of the show. I think a lot of people. And we talked to some people. Besides, we were sort of like, they're making choices. But it's very contemporary. The lighting, the sets. Yes, the Walt Disney Theater stage has a giant LED screen in the back, but compared to some of the other Disney Cruise Line shows, that's about it when it comes to LED. Now, the new theater, this Walt Disney Theater on here has probably the best and highest resolution projection mapping they've ever used in one of the theaters. The sets for this show are straight up Broadway sets. I mean, they use stairs, these moving stairs, in a very unique way to create different set pieces throughout the show.
The moving platforms on this stage were unreal. There's so many times where the floor's coming down.
The amount of sections of the stage that drop, that move are amazing. Like that is very just
I was amazed at how many times this floor was coming down, this part of the floor was coming up, this part was going down, and then these two would come up, and it was quite a feat to watch that.
The Hydra puppets are somehow they pull off a battle like that on the stage, and it's really impressive. There's only one. The final battle between the Titans is probably the only one spot in the whole show that felt a little dragged out. All the showstoppers from the movie that you expect are in this show, and plus one new song, "Shooting Star," which actually works very well, which was, I think, cut from the movie. Works very well on the stage with a song between Hercules and Meg. All the actors were amazing. Everything about this show was just top notch.
There's a lot of, especially like you said, within the first 10 minutes of the show, I was like, where are they going with the vibe of the show? And even like I was sitting back in my chair like this, like, I hope this isn't how this show's going to go. And then for some reason, the show starts to morph into what they're going for, and it works. It was great. I loved it.
The finale just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And when you think it's reached its peak, it goes one more level.
Yeah.
It's, to me, and yes, we haven't seen the Moana show on the Disney Treasure. It's the best Disney cruise or theme park show I've ever seen. Be interested to see what Hercules on Broadway ends up being.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping, because I've always wanted a Hercules musical, so the fact that we got this one on the Disney Destiny is a great start. So I hope we see big things for Hercules here in the future from Disney on Broadway.
All the shows have elements for everyone from kids to adults, and that's what makes the Disney Cruise Line shows so good, is they are full-blown productions. And
it's Disney too. You can go into these shows expecting Disney quality, and you're going to get it. There's parts you're watching these shows, and there's moments where you forget you're on a boat.
Yeah.
You're on a boat. You're on a boat out in the middle of the Atlantic, and you're like, I'm watching this show, and I feel like I'm at the Dr. Phillips or something.
No, you're in a theater that is as state of the art as any Broadway theater. Out there.
So we can kind of segue into characters aboard the Disney Destiny. Characters. This is the really cool thing about the Disney Destiny is this ship. The one thing that I noticed is the storytelling on this ship. You have the storyteller characters, which came over from the Disney Treasure. They're also here on the Disney Destiny.
They're Marvel themed now.
Yeah, they're kind of Marvel themed now.
Marvel. They appear in other things, but
and the progression, because it's Disney. Disney's all about storytelling. So the progression, again, I've seen this over the years with Disney Cruise Line, all the sailings I've been on. The Disney Destiny, the storytelling on this ship is second to none. And it's great to see that Disney is starting to turning the ships just not into a cruise ship, but actually storytelling moments throughout the whole ship.
Throughout
the whole cruise. And Loki, he plays a big part on the Disney Destiny. He kind of periodically comes out in the Grand Hall. The first one that we saw, unfortunately, we missed I think there's a couple shows in the middle that feature Loki that progress his story as you're on the Disney Destiny. But the first one was called Legend of Loki, and this is where he makes his debut. Basically, the storytellers are out on stage. They have these little jars of Hera and Thor and who else? It was his dad, Odin.
Odin and Loki,
He's up on the stairs on the Grand Hall, and they're talking about all these different characters, and he takes his staff, and the little jars fall over.
Yeah.
It was a cute little show, but that's the first show, and then there's a couple other shows as you go on your cruise that feature Loki.
We didn't get to see all of them. I'm sure the show that a lot of people are talking about is we've talked about a lot of kids stuff. There is adult stuff that goes on in the evening after 8 o'clock. There's certain venues that are only for the adults. Saga is sort of like the second theater at theater entertainment performance space on the ship. And then, in the evening, those all become adult shows. And at least on the first night of our cruise was With Great Power, a Marvel comedy show. Late night comedy show featuring the storytellers.
I missed out on this show. You got to see it.
I mean, in Disney cruises have adult shows in the evening, but I've never seen anything like this. I don't want to give away the whole show. It's sort of a sketch. I'm sure there's some improv in it too, based on the crowd reactions. A certain red and black superhero shows up at some point, but they go through different Marvel story using different Marvel stories. I don't want to give away the show, but it was funny. It's hilarious. I was dying laughing, even though I was like in the balcony towards the back, and had to stand up and watch. I had to stand up and watch the show the whole time. I am hoping that they're going to run it on multiple nights because it's so funny, and it's very hard to get a seat even on our about half full cruise ship. But during the day, there is probably the coolest sort of show / meet and greet we've ever seen, and that is Under Her Spell, a Maleficent encounter.
Yeah,
where Maleficent appears.
This also takes place in Saga. I really like these multiple use venues that they've got on the Destiny. Again, a big change from some of the other ships. Some of the other ships have clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like Disney's kind of shying away from that with these newer ships, and they're kind of making these like dual purpose venues.
Well, yeah, the Great Hall, the atrium area you walk in, is also performance space.
Yeah.
And both Saga and the Great Hall are Wakanda themed, even though they have a lighting system that the overall theme is Wakanda, but it changes for whatever use they need. The Maleficent little show / meet and greet was really cool and funny too, because a little interactive.
Yeah, Maleficent basically comes out, and it's really interesting how Disney did this. It's like Barry said, it's like a glorified meet and greet basically. But Maleficent comes out, and for about 10-15 minutes, she pulls people up on stage, and basically questions their loyalty. Like, are you loyal to her in finding what's Princess Aurora,
or Prince Philip,
basically just having a few quirky, fun little interactions with guests. And then at the end, they change it over to a meet and greet. So if you want to get a photo with Maleficent, you form a line and you get your photo with Maleficent. The really cool thing is the giant LED wall in Saga. She does these little transformations throughout the meet and greet. So she'll turn around with her staff and she'll wave it. And it'll go from
her dungeon
to
her throne room.
And then you go through her throne room, and then there's another one where you're just outside of her castle.
Yeah, you're in the forest.
You're in the vines, the thorns. Yeah. So it's really cool. If you love Maleficent, do not miss this show.
The show part of it, she is live mic'd. She's not lip syncing or anything. She's not. She is actually live mic'd. And then, like in the Grand Hall, every day there's multiple shows. Like I said, we didn't get to see all of them. Or like I said, Loki appears in different shows. The storytellers appear in different shows. I think the storytellers will pop in, like Cruella. There's a show in DeVille's, which we'll get to later. They might pop in there. There's all these different places they pop in. I'm sure as more and more people watch the Destiny, they'll document everywhere you can catch the storytellers.
Yeah.
They're pretty much after a certain time of day, they're out and about.
And I really, at first I was kind of like, the storyteller characters kind of grew on me throughout the cruise. At first I was like, oh, these guys are cheesy. But the more I saw them, the more interactions we had with them, they actually kind of grew on me. And by the end of the cruise, they were a lot of fun.
For those of us who got to experience Comedy Warehouse and Adventurers Club, it was very.
I can kind of see that
wheelhouse, in our wheelhouse, and now makes me want to. Can we get Adventurers Club?
Yeah, Adventurers Club.
Can we bring Adventurers Club back on one of the ships?
Yeah.
Even some of the character meet and greets. There's entertainment. And speaking of the meet and greet, not really a meet and greet, but there is a doctor. There's an opportunity in multiple times throughout the cruise to go into Dr. Facilier's parlor. You can't take pictures. You can't video once you step into his parlor. I got to experience that, and it is basically it's sort of like a sleight of hand. He basically does a sleight of hand card trick.
Yeah.
but it's all about, with Dr. Facilia's flair, it's all about finding someone who has intuition.
Yeah.
To know what the cards are. And I don't want to give it away. And it ends in a very Dr. Facilier way. I waited about 45 minutes for it.
It's very small. They literally repurposed one of the portraits photo studios.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, slightly themed, but it's all about all the up close experience with Dr. Facilier. So
yeah.
If that's something you like or into, it was worth the wait. And the line started like about 30, 45. I think one time we walked by, it was like an hour before.
I walked by it a couple times, and the line got pretty long for it.
Yeah. There's so many meet and greets. And that's always the thing I love about Disney Cruise. And the great thing with this one is it's not just princesses. It's not just Mickey, Minnie, Chip, Dale. It's not just the characters. There are heroes and villains.
I think this is the most Marvel meet and greets they've had on a ship yet.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see. And, because they had Loki, Cruella. I think we've pretty much mentioned the ones that we saw. Facilier, Maleficent, Black Panther, Spider-Man. So. Gosh, I can't even think of any more of them. But, there's so many. The Sounds of Wakanda show, that was the other thing, entertainment-wise. That was really great as well. The same guys that we saw in the Lion King dinner show, they come out and they... Yeah. Have a little interactive show with some of the sounds of the drumming, and it was such a cool little show. But yeah, there's so much entertainment on this ship. As with any Disney cruise, there's so much to do. Highly, highly, highly recommend the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. That thing is a godsend because you can literally go through each day and heart all the things you want to do, and it gives you notifications throughout the day. Yeah. It is a godsend
and we
because
didn't get to do a lot of the things we hearted.
Exactly. But it's nice to have, and it reminds you of stuff that you liked and throughout your day, so you can go, oh, I don't have time for that, and all the stuff you missed out on. So, all right, let's move on to Aquamouse. Let's talk about the Aquamouse really quick that we froze our butts off on.
Oh my God, it was cold.
This was my first time on the Aquamouse, obviously first Wish class ship.
You've been on the Aquaduck.
Yeah, I've been on the Aquaduck, but it was really cool. This one's villains themed. The Mickey short, you see all sorts of scenes of them running around different. I saw the skeleton dance crew. I saw Lion King. I saw Chernabog, Scar. There's very cool different moments as you're going up the lift hill.
And then they spray you with water at each moment.
This cruise that we went on, a cold front had come through, and it was a little chilly. I think it was like maybe upper 60s, maybe low 70s
on that day.
So it went up because it was windy too, and they have. That's the thing with these water slides on these cruise ships is weather plays a big role. We were up there on the deck, we saw it went up, and we ran down, got in our bathing suits, went up. We filmed our ride on it. It was cold. It was very cold. We were having fun. I promise.
It was so much fun.
Yeah,
it was the fact that you're on a water coaster at sea. And not just at a themed one that has like a little dark ride portion before you go down the slide. Cool slide. We did not unfortunately get to check out some of the other water things because they weren't running.
Yeah.
So we did not get to see all that. There's a whole sort of like water little. But it's for kids, but it has stuff for adults, slides for adults too. Sort of the water park area wasn't running when we had the chance to go by there. Yeah, we didn't get to the adults only, and we didn't get to the Hero Zone, which apparently is like the sports area that has like
they have like basketball courts and
and it's all sort of like Incredibles themed,
giant inflatable.
That tells you how much time we had to do stuff. We didn't even. There was parts of the ship we didn't even get to.
Let's get on to the lounges of the Disney Destiny. I think these were easily some of the most impressive and well thought out and fun lounges I've seen on any of the Disney Cruise Line ships. And I'm not saying that because of the one that we love. I genuinely think that all of these lounges were really, really a lot of fun. Obviously, the first one you can kind of see when you get on the ship is DeVille's. The Cruella DeVille themed lounge, which
there's an outdoor side of the bar, and then but the inside is where you want to go.
That's where you want to go because that's where all the cool stuff is. It's a piano lounge. They have a piano in there, playing all sorts of different types of music. They hit the vibe of this lounge so perfectly with all the reds and all the everything. I don't know what you thought about it, Barry.
It's clearly supposed to look like Cruella designed it. There's a lot of spots.
Lots of spots.
Of course the drinks in there are Cruella themed from like the Fashionista, which I believe that one that isn't just. There's a lot about with these lounges. There's a lot of presentation.
Yeah.
So I believe the Fashionista, it comes with a drink, but it also comes like with edible glitter you can put on top. Like there's a spritz you can did it that makes the drink a little fizzier or something, and then there's like an edible lipstick you can do. There was one, was it the Perfectly Wretched?
The Perfectly Wretched was the one with the lipstick and stuff.
There's a lot. There's a couple of different drinks that come with a whole
the Fashionista comes with the popcorn, and the drink and the mixer, which was really neat.
Like I said, it's a lot of presentation, a lot of fun.
The bourbon drink, which was themed after Roger's smoke pipe, was really cool. That was a cool drink.
There's a lot of neat drinks in there. And of course at night, the piano bar kicks in, and there's different themed shows. I guess when the media got to see it, but I'm assuming this will be a show that everyone will get to see, is where you go to the show is like the piano player is playing Cruella de Vil, and Cruella pops in, and she's like how much she despises that song, and you're supposed to come up with a new song.
Yeah, this is again another
experience that.
Another show where the storytellers are involved. The show was called Treble Making with Cruella. Yes. Do not miss this show if you are a fan of Cruella de Vil, because like Barry said, basically the piano player starts playing the Cruella de Vil song. She comes in, she's like, "Oh my God, I hate this song," et cetera, to keep this short. And so the storytellers are like, "Whoa!" And then she storms out all sad and depressed. And the storytellers are like, "Okay, we have to make another song to make Cruella feel good about herself."
Yeah.
So they start asking people in the lounges, like, what are some words that make Cruella feel good about herself? And what are some things that Cruella likes, like her car, her fashion? And then the piano, he gives a medley, and you're making this new Cruella song. It all comes together. She comes back in the room. The storytellers sing the song to her, and she loves it. And it was just a really fun, cute little show. And we got one of the first showings on that cruise, which was really cool.
And definitely during times in the evening where she's doing meet and greets, you might just pop in there randomly every so often, as we've definitely seen some people post of her just sort of showing up at different times.
And then the sports bar aboard the Disney Destiny is the Cask and Cannon, which I don't think Barry and I really had a whole lot. We didn't spend too much time in here. We went to the open house. We had a really good interview with, I think he was like the beverage director or something.
Yes.
He was fantastic. So if you guys want to learn more about the food and the drinks aboard in the Cask and Cannon, really watch our YouTube video that we're going to be doing on the lounges.
We'll have all on all four main lounges. But Cask and Cannon is like sort of sports bar. Also has a late night a la carte, which means you will get charged menu. Look, there's so many little Easter eggs. Just walk around. You will catch so many things. This bar is open like all different times of the day, because there's also like I think there's like trivia in there sometimes, and also basically if you like rum, this is your bar.
This is your place.
Because they have a lot of different types of rum, and actually one of the things that they tout is the fact that the rum menu there will be constantly changing, because they are scouring the world finding different batches of rum, and depending on the type of batch, how big the batch is, they've tried to find rare batches of different types of rum, so you can do all kinds of different rum tastings. There's all the drinks. There's even a unique rum on this ship that is normally only available at the Bacardi family basically factory that you could normally only get there, that they have on the ship, and it is also in its own special cask.
Mm-hmm.
So it has its own special type of flavor to it on top of the regular, so there's unique rums in this place. There's some unique beers in this place too that they've created just for this bar on this ship.
And we never got to go back and try it, but this area has probably the best value drink. The Dead Man's Chest for $25.
Well, we tried the drink. Remember, we got a sample.
That's right. We got the sample. Yeah, and for $25, you get 2 drinks. I think it was like rum, pineapple, lime, agave.
It was very good.
yeah, that was really good. I remember the 0-proof version of that we tried.
We got to try the 0-proof version. That's what we haven't talked about is like there are a lot of 0-proof cocktails. These are not mocktails. There are mocktails too.
Yeah.
These are actually like 0-proof spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them have the same bite, the same kick that you would get from an alcoholic spirit. And
I was shocked by them.
All the ones we tried were very good because there was even in actually DeVille's there is a 0-proof cocktail that is an old fashioned, and it even has the burn that you get.
That was the one I was talking about. It was so wild.
From an old fashioned. Like, it literally tasted out like an old fashioned. I was able to try a few of the different drinks in, I love rum. I was able to try a few of the different drinks in Cask and Cannon, and I actually a couple of times went up there and got a drink.
Yeah.
And then went to the Haunted Mansion Parlor or went to DeVille's with that drink. And that is one of the cool things you can do in the lounges there is you can
bounce back and forth.
You can bounce back and forth. You can bring your drink from somewhere else into the lounge if you don't really like the menu that's in that lounge. So Cask and Cannon, like I said, most time in the evenings there's sports up on the screens. During the day they look like pirate maps or different theming. So tons of Easter eggs in that place. I think if we had more time, we probably would have spent more time in there. Next up is the Sanctum, which is probably one of the biggest lounges. It's also one of the most multi-purpose. It's the most multi-purpose out of the 4 major themed lounges, and it's in sort of like the center area on the third deck. And it's often used during the day for like trivia. At night, there's always a band, and it stays open a little bit later than the other lounges do. So that place is always, every time we go by there, it was packed.
It was always happening. Always a happening place.
They've got a lot of cool, unique items on their drink menu, and they also have a couple of they have waffles. They have like either custard or there's a couple other kind, or was it Nutella or whatever?
Yeah,
they had a couple of different waffles that you can order. That
there was a custard stuffed waffle, and then there was a berry stuffed waffle.
Berry stuffed waffle, okay, and you can get them with like different dipping sauces. They had a lot of unique drinks there. I feel like there are a little bit more like bourbon drinks there because it's supposed to be the Sanctum. It's supposed to be Doctor Strange's Sanctum, so it's very aged looking, very like sedate.
If you're a Doctor Strange fan, take your time and look around because there's all sorts of Easter eggs. We almost missed his freaking cape. His cape is in there.
His cape is in there. It's in a place you wouldn't expect.
It's kind of hidden back in the corner. I'm not going to tell you where because you need to look for it yourself. But we almost missed his cape.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of little Easter eggs if you're a Doctor Strange fan, which is really neat.
And it's another one. There's a lot of drinks. It's about the presentation there. There is a drink that they present you that is literally levitating.
Gotta love magnets.
Gotta love magnets. And I'll be say they don't bring it to your table that way. It's literally like it's if you're at the bar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like bubbles and smoke and like all kinds of different presentations, a lot of different drinks. But that's sort of the more multi-purpose of them. There's a lot of cool, like I said, Easter eggs and theming in that bar. But that bar is used for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's also the one that stays open, I believe, later than the other ones. But let's get to the main event. Let's get to what we're here to really talk about.
Of course, Barry and I are saving this for last.
All the way into this podcast for us to talk about, and that is the Haunted Mansion Parlor. We got to walk in there before it opened.
Yeah.
They weren't being very strict. They were sort of letting some of us wander in.
Yeah.
And we wandered. We weren't on the ship that long before we wandered in there.
No. We just kind of meandered back there in that back corner.
We meandered back there,
oops.
And then we noticed some people had walked in and out. We're like,
how did we end up in here?
Let's go walk in. Oops, I opened the door. I think the thing of any Haunted Mansion fan has ever wanted is to be able to sit in the Haunted Mansion. There's a rare few who, usually only Imagineers, people who maybe won a contest, or people who know people who've ever gotten to go into the Haunted Mansion attractions and actually sit somewhere.
Not even to sit in it, just to enjoy it.
Enjoy it, just to be able
to walk.
Yeah, to be able to stand in the ballroom scene.
You're not flying by in
it.
Yeah, you're not zipping by in a doom buggy.
This is easily an attraction within itself, and I think that's one of the things when we wrap up is we'll talk about how, as a theme park fan, this may be the coolest ship ever, just because the ship sort of feels like a theme park. There's so much going on in this place, and I think also the fact that you and I got to walk in it when there was really nobody in there, which we will get to we got to walk around with really almost no one in there, and it's just the soundtrack going.
The lightning, the atmosphere.
It runs on about a 40-minute loop. Let's talk about just sitting in the Donald Duck chair. The duck chair.
Yeah.
You get to sit in the duck chair.
Yeah.
Something I think every one of us have wanted since we were like a little kid.
Yeah.
When we've seen that chair. There's things unique. There's portraits. There's changing portraits in there that are unique to that lounge, that parlor.
Mm-hmm.
There's details. I think when we first walked in, we were like, oh, they nailed the actual lighting from the attraction. The light, the chandeliers and everything are literally lit like they are in the attraction. And I think there are things in the Haunted Mansion parlor that are unique to the Haunted Mansion parlor, but there are also things in there that there are touches and specific things in there that are from all three mansions.
Yep.
And Phantom Manor. Behind the bar, at different points during the loop, you will see ghosts. I'm sure they're CGI, but they move and look exactly like the animatronics from the attraction. That was the part that shocked me.
I was blown away. There were multiple. When I first saw them, I was like, oh, those are just, like you said, they're CG. But the more I looked at them, the more I was impressed with how much they didn't look like CG.
They looked like put animatronics behind the bar.
They looked like they were animatronics behind the glass. Yeah. I was very surprised at how well they look. And that was the thing, too, with the Hitchhiking Ghost in the parlor. I didn't want them to look cheesy, CG'd, and they don't. They look really good. The really cool part where Leota obviously shows up in her ball, and she's floating around, and they have really cool interactions. When she does her little spiel, by ringing a bell, the bartenders have bells and tambourines on the bar for you to interact with, which was really cool. Simple little thing, but it was really neat. And then they have the Raleigh Crump statue on the in the parlor, which is amazing. I don't know why Disney doesn't sell a replica of that.
The other thing we forgot is there's a reason the Raleigh Crump statue's in there. Obviously, he's one of the designers, but he was also Haunted Mansion started off as Museum of the Weird, and there are things in the Haunted Mansion parlor that are based on ideas and sketches that were done by Raleigh Crump for the Museum of the Weird, because there's an aquarium in there with ghostly fish that appear at times, and maybe they do something else too.
That was his concept artwork. I remember watching, what was it, the Disney Treasure special, and they had to go back and they were going through a lot of his artwork concept, and they stumbled upon that fish tank. And so that's in there. Make sure you watch the fish, because they do something really cool.
The fish do something cool. The portraits do something cool, because if you know Haunted Mansion, each Haunted Mansion, things are a little bit different with the portraits.
Yeah.
So the portrait, these are all unique portraits for the parlor, because the parlor does have a story in it within itself, a little story within itself. But the portraits yes, you'll see flashes of lightning and they'll change, but the portraits do something in the parlor that they don't do anywhere else in the world. One of the coolest effects in the entire parlor is that alone.
Yeah. When the portraits go from their living self to their undead skeletal, whatever you want to call it, it's a really cool effect. So make sure when they start changing, it's a very subtle and slow effect, unlike the Haunted Mansion, where it's a little quicker. But this one's really cool.
The show moment for it is really cool. They still change when the lightning flashes. You'll see their ghostly their ghostly versions.
I think both you and I were kind of on the same page about the only thing that we were underwhelmed with the Haunted Mansion parlor were the drinks. I think the 13th Hour was the only one that I got that I enjoyed.
I know a lot of people, that seems to be a common theme. I think 13th Hour, I believe we didn't get a chance to try the Death Certificate. That's the other one I think a lot of people like. But everything else, you had both of you blew the money. There are 2 tiki mugs, and Clint got both of them.
Yeah.
Those were, one was the Siren was like 50, and then Poseidon is 65 current prices.
Yeah.
And you said both of those drinks were just okay. They had you know us, we sometimes think with specialty drinks they try too hard.
Yeah.
And we feel like a lot of the drinks in the parlor they tried too hard. I just don't like the taste. Like I said, 13th Hour I think is your safest bet if you go in there. It's also the irony we've noticed at some of the theme parks, some of the best drinks, at least the drinks we like the most on the menu, were the least expensive drinks. and all 4 lounges, these drinks are going to be higher priced than any of the drinks you get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Except for probably up in the adult section of like Palo, Enchante, and then was it the Rose, which we didn't get to, the lightly Beauty and the Beast themed lounge that is up there in that area.
But with that being said, the drinks, didn't bother me that they weren't the greatest. Yeah. They weren't horrible. They just didn't do anything for me in the Haunted Mansion parlor. As I've mentioned several times throughout this podcast, I could just sit in the Haunted Mansion parlor without a drink.
Yes, which we did.
A cup of water and be in my happy place. The vibe, the atmosphere, it was just perfect. I saw some clips of the Haunted Mansion parlor from the treasure and stuff, but I kind of went in spoiler free. It was exactly what I wanted in the Haunted Mansion parlor. There wasn't anything that I didn't like about the parlor.
And as far as for our cruise, felt like when it first opened, it's not as busy, and then at least on the final night we sort of closed it out, and that last about half hour it was open, it was probably the best experience we had in there because it quieted it down, and I think almost everybody who was in there at the end of the cruise were all there to sort of just vibe,
take it all in,
which we did. I don't want to keep going on. It is an attraction. It is not just a lounge or parlor. It is literally an attraction.
Yeah,
there's stuff that I think we found out after getting off the ship. Like some people post some other things like, we didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
It's like, how did we miss that? And it's like, so I will say, you've obviously been on more Disney cruises than I have.
You went from the smallest ship to the biggest, newest. I just realized that.
I think a lot of people were worried when they announced the Heroes and Villains theme. It is one of the most cohesive experiences on a Disney cruise ship. It just works.
Yeah.
And if you're a theme park fan, I feel like you're going to love this ship because I feel like if you're going to Disney cruise, you're probably a Disney theme park fan. I would hope.
Most likely.
I know there are some people who are really huge fans of the Disney Cruise Line. We didn't even get the sheer amount of artwork on this ship.
Barry and I mentioned,
and also sort of like behind, storyboard. It's not just regular storyboards, concept art. Like we said, there's displays throughout the ship that have like maquettes and color samples from stuff, and all through it. This ship is loaded.
Barry and I could have literally done a video, which we never got to do, on just the artwork on this ship.
If we ever get to go back again, we will do it. We'll do a video of just the artwork on this ship. It is.
There's so much to look at.
I mean, yes, Disney Cruise Line ships have a ton of artwork. This is like next freaking level.
Yeah,
and it's all. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's artwork, and of course, there's artwork in your room. We didn't talk about the rooms. There's artwork in every room. The rooms are themed to different themes. It's not overbearing. The carpets on this ship.
My review of the rooms, the biggest change is the pull-out fridge.
Yeah. That was the pull-out fridge is
I don't know why I was so happy to have a pull-out fridge. It just works better than a door fridge, but
a door. Well, you open a door and then you have to open another door.
Yeah, the pull-out fridge is one of the best changes I've seen in the staterooms aboard a Disney Cruise Line ship.
We did get to stay, thank you Disney, in a Ocean View family veranda stateroom.
Yeah,
it was very spacious, very nice.
We are going to be doing a video because we toured pretty much every stateroom on this ship. Indoor stateroom, family, veranda.
The Hero Suite.
The Tower Suite. The Hero Suite.
Oh, my God. I wish I could win the lottery.
Yeah.
The Hero Suite was like jaw-dropping. There's a story that goes throughout your entire cruise.
Yeah.
I think this cruise, I'm glad this ship is doing 4 and 5 night cruises because I think we were all in agreement. I mean, yes. Would we have loved to have been on another night? Sure, but
I would have liked to bet on another week.
I can totally agree that this ship, like minimum 4 nights, I think will make it a little bit easier to experience.
Yeah.
And yes, we know Disney cruises are not inexpensive. They are expensive. They are high end. There was just like, there's so much to do on that ship, and that's always one of my biggest complaints about some cruises is there's just on sea days there's just not enough to do. If you're a doer, I realize some people like to relax. When I go on a fake cruise, even when I go on a cruise, I want to do stuff. I want to see entertainment. I want to see things. I want to experience things. That I can't experience when I'm at home. We've heard a lot of people complain about the Wish class ships. I had no problem getting around. I know if you can get around a theme park, you can get around a freaking cruise ship.
You can get your bearings pretty quick on these ships. Disney does a really good job of the layout, the elevator locations. There's maps all over the place. I've never understood the people that complained about getting around the Disney Cruise Line ships.
I understand the big complaint about this ship is the fact that there is not a walkway that goes all the way around the ship on one of the decks. And I know a lot of people, that's a big thing for them.
The good thing about the Destiny is it adds 10, 15 years ago when you wanted to book a Disney cruise, you didn't have a whole lot of options. As far as like if you had a specific itinerary that you wanted to do. And the Disney Destiny adds to the portfolio of the Disney Cruise Lines. I mean, you have the Wish here in Port Canaveral. Yeah. This for you and I that live in Orlando, it's a 3-hour drive down to Port Everglades.
And the Port Everglades cruises are usually a little bit less expensive.
Yeah.
Because they're not as close to Orlando. And I noticed there's Destiny cruises that this is a brand new ship that are like less expensive than the Wish cruises. It's not you don't have to drive as far as you did to drive to the Miami port. Parking wise, if you drive to the parking garage, it's only $20 a day.
I'm fairly certain that this is my new favorite ship. And like I said, this is my first Wish class ship. I've been on the Dream and the Destiny, the Magic and the Wonder. The original ships will have a special place in my heart. They're very, they're the original ships.
It's unique. It's neat, like I said, being on the Magic was a neat experience.
Yeah, and out of the Dream and Fantasy, the Fantasy has been my favorite ship ever since until I've been on the Destiny. The storytelling on this ship, and it's very subtle, but the heroes and villain thing actually it works really well. We didn't even talk about Pirate Night. That was, I can mention that really quick. I've been kind of meh about Pirate Night because I've been on so many Disney cruises. I hate to think like that. I was pleasantly surprised with the Pirate Night on the Destiny because they have a live band, they were fantastic. Again, we mentioned several times about the live mic performers on several shows, dinner shows. They're kind of like a cover band almost.
It was more like a rock concert. The pirate party was more like a rock concert.
But it was really cool. It wasn't the traditional pirate performance with Mickey coming out on which is still on the smaller ships.
I mean, Captain Jack still makes his appearance.
Jack Sparrow does his little bit, which that's a given at this point with Pirate Night. I was pleasantly surprised with the show all the way leading up until the fireworks aboard the ship. So that was great.
The fireworks were shocking because the music from the Pirates of the Caribbean was being performed by the live band
on the stage. Yeah,
on the stage in sync with the fireworks, and that to me was one of the neatest moments on the ship. So it's like I said, we will have multiple vlogs and everything on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we'll have.
It's just a taste of what it's like to be on there.
Yeah, we weren't able to capture every moment, but we do have multiple videos coming to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ThrillGeek. Make sure you're subscribed there. We already have some up, and we have some more coming because we shot like over 200 gigs of video this entire cruise.
Yeah.
So.
And those of you who like to watch our videos, try to figure out which ones were shot on the final day.
Yeah.
When both him and especially me were like sleep deprivated out of our minds.
Like I said, we slept maybe 5 hours every night of sleep.
Every night. We got about 5 hours of sleep each night. And good God. Like that final day, I was running on fumes.
Alrighty, guys. We're going to get on out of here. This was a biggie, but, we had a lot to talk about. Make sure you're following across all of our social media, ThrillGeek across all of our social media channels, and you are subscribed to the ThrillGeek YouTube channel. That's the big one because we have a lot of stuff coming out there. Not just Disney Destiny. We have a Jollywood Nights video coming soon. And
all the holiday stuff's coming.
All the holiday stuff coming soon to the ThrillGeek YouTube channel. So, Barry, anything you want to plug, your social media, anything before we get on out of here?
At Culture and Thrills, they're on all social media platforms, and please subscribe. Watch our ThrillGeek Studio videos. We're working hard.
Yeah, we're putting a lot of work into these videos. So please, the one thing that we want you guys to support is the YouTube channel. So thank you guys. I am at IMCG83 on social media platforms to give me a follow. And so take care, be safe, and we will see you guys on the next recording.
See you soon.
Bye.